it's ancient aliens, and oh my god, it's the 1940s Germany, man. Shall we begin? And we're off to Germany because, well, obviously. And during the Second World War, those German fellas, they had some pretty cool technologically advanced stuff, like tanks and planes and all that. But that's not all, because they also had the V1 Bomber, which was the first cruise missile, and the V2, which was the first ballistic missile. And that does sound pretty advanced now, doesn't it? It's almost as if they were at war and needed to be very innovative, very quickly to win it. But wait, they actually advanced too quickly, which is illegal. So let's ask the question, was this actually just the natural progression of war, like that just follows facts and logic? Or were they guided by extraterrestrial forces that were providing them with advancements beyond our conception? Are you stupid? Of course it was bloody aliens! In 1993's book called The Secret Society by Jan van Helsing, there was a story about how in 1936 something crashed in the Freiburg woods. And that was really strange, because the residents, they reportedly woke up by what sounded like a massive plane crash. But when the policemen came to investigate, it was a freaking flying saucer with a bunch of dead aliens. So the 1940s Germany men, they came along and took those aliens to their top secret headquarters, where those future NASA scientists, they started reverse engineering that alien technology. But hang on, claims are one thing, is there any actual evidence of this? Well, of course there was, because there were reports that someone once claimed to have read some documents all about that alien tech, and now discount Rudy Giuliani, he's confirming it. But sadly, he doesn't actually have the reports at hand. And look, those Germany guys were experimenting with anti-gravity, and it happened shortly after that flying frickin' saucer was found crashed, which is more than enough proof by now. And those scientists, one of them was called Victor Show Me Burgers, and he was very influential in fluid motion and fluid dynamics, and he was actually studying trout in water, and he concluded that, you know what, a fish doesn't actually swim, it is swum by the water. So how does that relate to aliens? Well, it actually doesn't, but he did engineer some pretty cool propulsion systems, where it sucks in air at the top, and then pushes it through a vortex that comes out the bottom, so it completely levitates, which is amazing. And oh my balls, it turns out that's actually ancient technology that he was using, so he's just basically recycling it, because the Indians actually discovered the principle of propulsion freaking years ago, and here's a tablet of text to confirm it, but sadly they couldn't read it out for the audience. So back to the actual aliens, because those Germans, they built a prototype flying saucer called the Hanabu, and it flew by creating electrons and positrons, where the positrons would move to the top of the saucer, so it would totally levitate, and that raises serious questions. So discount Terry Pratchett says it's obvious that the Germans were in touch with freaking aliens, because that's the only way that could have happened. And now we have even peer-reviewed scientific clinical studies to prove it. Let's have a look at the swastika, boys, because those damn Germans absolutely loved it. They put it on flags, armbands, and even on public toilet walls. But it was actually culturally appropriated from ancient India, where it was meant to be a mark of good fortune, and it's also found across the ancient world, like in Egypt and the Americas. So those Germans thought it would be a good idea to put that symbol on them to represent the Aryan race. Which is totally wrong. You just don't do that kind of cultural appropriation, bro. It's like dressing up in blackface and then becoming the Prime Minister of Canada just so you can call everyone else a bigot. But were those Germans actually aware of its ancient origin? Well, in the Sanskrit text, that symbol is connected to extraterrestrial beings like Brumo, who's an Indian god. And that just confirms everything now. And also, how was that symbol found across the ancient world? And that's really strange. So knockoff Rudy Giuliani says, the aliens obviously came here and gave it to our ancestors to ward off the evil. And then Hitler chose it for his symbol because of its extraterrestrial origins. And then surrounded himself with people who believed in aliens and the occult. Oh, and also a bunch of mass murderers who were totally evil. It's but I thought that symbol was to ward off evil. But they are the evil. Oh my god, it's confusing. But it doesn't matter because it's only the aliens we care about. So, why did Hitler do that? To find a way to win the war, obviously. And look, here's Himmler. He's a nice guy, I hear. And it turns out he was part of a secret society called the Veril, and they believed in a powerful master race who had a power called the Veril, which is a type of energy that if used correctly, they could actually control things, like the TV from afar, and also levitate stuff too. And they even believed only they could use this force because they were the descendants of aliens, and they called themselves the Aryans. So obviously the Aryan race, innit? And then when they actually took over most of Europe, but not Britain though, they actually went across the entire planet searching for really cool stuff like the Ark of the Covenant and the frickin' Holy Grail, and they were going to use them as weapons somehow, which is totally the plot from Indiana Jones. But did Hitler actually think this was true, or did he just watch the Spielberg's award-winning trilogy? According to Graham Hancock, probably, because the Ark of the Covenant is pretty cool. So let's go back to top secret Germany headquarters, where those 1940s Germany guys were trying to do like psychic powers, and they got a bunch of women to come in who claimed to know about aliens, and they told Hitler, those aliens, right, they're already on the Earth and they can fly by levitation. And oh my god, it's like you only have to walk up to these guys and tell them you believe in aliens and you get a first class seat. So let's ask the question again. Was it possible in 1940s Germany that they actually got help from extraterrestrials that could have won the war for them? Well, in Berlin 1938, two physicists called Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann, they discovered fission, which is totally what happens in nuclear bombs, and they discovered it by accident, and then that knowledge spread throughout the entire world. And then Albert Einstein told the president of the US, we better watch out for these guys, bro. This shit is dangerous. How were those German physicists able to discover fission before anybody else? Was it by amounting scientific evidence and continuous experimentation? Or was it ancient technology rediscovered? Open your eyes, stupid! We have deformed skeletons and vitrified stone in Pakistan, and the remains of radioactive ash in India. And according to the ancient astronaut theorists, these were the results of a freaking nuclear bomb, because they obviously had the silos, they had the launch pads, and they were like really technology advanced in their manufacturing. And they had like uranium enrichment plants that we somehow haven't discovered yet, but I'm sure we'll dig it up sometime. And look, the Sanskrit text says the gods have some pretty cool weapons, so that straight up just confirms it. The gods were intergalactic aliens with freaking nuclear bombs. Was Hitler actually aware of this totally real ancient nuke? Well, obviously he was, because he was a keen archaeologist, and it turns out that he wanted to find this ancient technology actually really, really badly, and also wanted to find like genies and flying carpets and stuff, because the genies were also ancient aliens? But did Hitler actually find anything? That's the real question we're asking. In 1942, a secret lecture was held. That wasn't very secret since we know about it. And Werner Heisenberg, he actually spoke about creating a nuclear reactor. So now Vacuum Salesman is butting in and telling us how nuclear fission works. It's magic, he says. So let's completely forget all about that, and I'll talk about how Hitler was very close to creating a nuke. But one day, they just stopped trying to make one. So it's like, why did Hitler put all that effort in and then just stop? The mainstream historians thought it was through a lack of funding and obviously materials and also a stalling war effort. But they don't know anything, because what they were actually doing was turning their attention towards creating technology that meant they could travel through freaking space and time. So let's get in our tanks and head to Poland, where there was a really strange structure called the Henge, which is obviously a secret research facility with secret entrances. And that's a real mysterious. But like the mainstream media, they believe that it was actually a base for a cooling tower because of like coal plants and stuff. But oh my god, it was actually used to test new super advanced aircraft. And even discount Terry Pratchett, he confirms it. He's like, oh my god, it was actually for like flying things. But hang on, what does Stephen Greer think? Oh, well, he thinks that they were working on a bell-shaped craft that levitated using electromagnetism. And if it worked, they could have totally won the war. And oh my balls, that bell craft could have been a time machine as well, because Polish man says electromagnets. And then Stephen Greer says, oh, if you actually have the right electromagnetic field and then pulse it, things can totally like just disappear and then reappear. and they could use it to create a time-traveling space bell. And look, Albert Einstein said that time travel is possible, so that just straight up confirms everything. But hang on, no records exist of this bell ever being a thing, and that's a real mysterious. How did they know that there was a bell there if there were no records of it ever being there? Either people are putting stuff out their ass, or it's a far-right conspiracy theory. Nah, it's actually true because SS Hans, he disappeared at the end of the war, so Discount Terry Pratchett says he obviously took the bell and may have travelled to another planet, or he travelled to Argentina. And even worse, the engineers who worked on the bell, they all got died to death by the SS, so they couldn't tell anyone about it even though we know about it. And that's really interesting. So what about those women we mentioned earlier with the psychic abilities knowing about aliens? Well, that one right there, she sent out a coded message to her colleagues at the end of the war stating she was hoping to escape with the help of aliens, and Discount Dracula, he's an expert in this sort of stuff and says, I believe that they all had a special code to meet at a certain location to escape, and would you believe it, their escape plan was to board an alien spacecraft and go to another planet. Therefore, intergalactic space Nazis confirmed. Sadly, in 1945, those Germans lost to some pretty kick-ass guys like the British and the Canadians who landed on Juno Beach with my granddad, with a little bit of help from the US and a damn dirty socialist, of course. And as they advanced on Berlin, what happened to all the German scientists? Ooh, they ended up in the US, and the US military detonated their first nuclear bomb not long after. So, did they have access to ancient technology that gave them the key to creating the bomb? It's like, that's interesting. So how did they also create the technology that put the man on the moon? Obviously it was a result of learning alien technology, and here's crap Dracula who's telling a story where in 1970 an alien enthusiast claimed to have met Werner von Braun, and he asked him, how did you develop all this technology? And shut that front door! Werner von Braun said, we got help from frickin' aliens!
Subscribe button.
Is always right.